I got a channel actually, Durst the Worst. You may have seen it. I don't know.
I've seen you before. I recognize you. I've
Really?
seen you before.
Where at?
Thank you very much.
Around here at place. You've been to like different protests. Before.
Not in Portland. I've been to Portland once, like 4 or 5 years ago, but it wasn't for protests. You might have seen me in Seattle or
Maybe it's my imagination.
Berkeley.
I thought I saw you before, and I thought I recognized you.
You might have seen me on YouTube or something.
No, not likely. I
No?
can't use computers, which
Oh,
is
no.
ironic because I hand these things.
Wait, so
Yeah. In fact, I even changed it around and got rid of some of these things. It's really just the radio stations and the search engines that are really important.
combining turmeric and black pepper prevents Alzheimer's.
Well, it helps prevent it because the curcumin and the turmeric, it's good for your brain and avoiding inflammation and such as that. But ultimately, Alzheimer's is caused by a mineral deficiency, which is why I feel like I'm selling people short by handing these things to them. But they can figure that out quite easily. All they got to do is tune in to Coast to Coast AM every now and then. They'll figure it out.
Infowars?
No.
Coast to Coast, is that yours?
Coast to Coast AM. It's the AM radio station on there.
Is that yours?
No, it's not.
No?
Not
Do
mine.
are you in media in any way, or like?
No, I'm just trying to find whoever is telling the truth and whoever censors themselves the least, and then I try and help them out, I guess.
That would be Durst the Worst on YouTube. Yours truly. But what do you think would be the best way to season deep fried mahi mahi fish? Yeah, I don't know if you ever had mahi mahi.
I'm not sure what deep frying. I'm not really a deep fryer myself. I use the oven to bake things like eggs and steak and stuff myself.
Man, I love fish fry, man. I cannot get enough of that. Mahi mahi is just choice, man.
Yeah, I'd say.
Just turmeric and black pepper, though. It might be a start.
Throw some garlic in there. Throw some cayenne pepper. Throw salt. But you said deep fried fish, right?
Yeah. See, I like to roll it in panko breadcrumbs, like maybe flour and or panko, salt and pepper. That's all I've been doing. But there's probably some other stuff. I mean, basil, garlic.
Yeah, I mostly mix turmeric with my eggs for the most part because as it turns out, curcumin is fat soluble, so you absorb it better when you mix it with fat and then eat it, either by stirring it into butter, stirring it into the yolk of an egg, or stirring it into cream, as the Indians in India actually do themselves. They use cream, I think, to make curry. So.
Nice.
I don't know if they use coconut milk or cream from a cow, but I'd use cream from a cow. It's healthier.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about doing that just recently myself. Tasted some curry, and I realized it'd probably be easy to make it at home.
Absolutely.
What do you need? Curry powder, milk. Cream. What do you need? Salt, I guess.
See, I was eating like way too much red meat. I was making like beefy chili all the time. I started
You
getting.
should eat lots of red meat. I
don't know, man.
How does it hurt you?
It was making me like a fat fuck, honestly.
Trust me, that's not what the meat is not what made you fat. It's the lack of absorption of nutrition in your digestive system. That's what makes you fat.
It was probably like a lot of bread too, and cheese.
So what you need to do, my friend, is if you're ever afraid of, well, not I'm saying you're afraid. If you ever want to
I'm apprehensive to be.
If you want to maximize your nutritional potential, you need to take the gluten out of your diet. So no gluten and no vegetable oils.
Oh, but it's dank. That's what I like to fry the fish in. I love peanut oil or canola oil. So I should probably bake it. I should probably bake it.
Yeah,
that would be,
or
grill.
Use butter. Do you like butter?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, use butter. Butter is the healthiest fat there is, as far as I'm concerned. There's beef tallow.
Not veggie oil? Is veggie oil worse?
Vegetable oil, as it turns out, vegetable oil is not really that good for you. Which, if you think about it, really makes sense, because from an evolutionary perspective, were we really ever running around with spears hunting vegetables to extract the vegetable oil?
No. We probably had it as a side, maybe.
Maybe something to throw into our stomachs while we get from one hunt to another hunt.
Yeah.
Green leafy vegetables are good, Actually, I can tell you, you can make your own ice cream. I don't know if you're a big fan of ice cream, but you can make sugar-free ice cream just in stevia at home. All you need is, Bed Bath & Beyond ice cream machine.
Awesome. Wow.
And, yeah, you can use stevia and then just read the ingredients of any other container of ice cream you get from the store, and you can just duplicate it.
I kind of stay away from that, but I mean, every now and then I will indulge in like some over-the-top, like chunk-filled Ben and Jerry's type Oreo, whatever the fuck, Reese's type thing. But that's just like an occasional treat,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm kind of allergic to sugar. I can never eat it. It's terrible.
Well,
do you think you're gonna be down here tomorrow?
yes.
Yeah,
That's why I came out here from Milwaukee. That's where I'm from. The Antifa versus Trump thing has been a huge thing for my channel.
Yeah.
Every time I post it, it gets like hundreds of thousands or millions of views. Seriously.
You should point out to your viewers the irony in the fact that a few minutes ago, people from the Workers' Family Party were making a speech over there, and they might have mentioned something along the lines of, "Oh, Trump's a terrible president," or something like that. And the reason why that's ironic is because I've received emails from the Workers' Family Party months in the past, before Trump was elected, stating that they, as a political party, are very much against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. They are completely against it. And that's why, they were many of those people were big fans of Bernie Sanders, because he wanted to get rid of the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Trump is against that too, though.
His number 2 executive order was to get rid of the Trans-Pacific Partnership 100%. So, see what I'm saying? It's like, what are these people really angry at?
Well,
I'm disappointed that Trump bombed Syria, sort of,
and sold weapons to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
The fact that our country colludes with Saudi Arabia at all is ass, in my opinion. They are fucked up.
I think the purpose of that is to have opposition to Iran or something like that.
Man, they cut vaginas and do honor killings. Not them. Saudi Arabia.
Wait, they what?
Saudi Arabia, oppresses the fuck out of their women, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? When you looked that way, I thought you thought that I said that those people do that. I'm like, no.
I thought you said something else. I don't know what I heard.
I probably said what you thought I did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's goofy.
I need to find a new stick for this thing. Oh no, America's broken. That's okay, we can fix it.
Make America great again?
Yeah.
People get pissed about that. In fact, the people that are going to come down tomorrow are going to be way more militant, radical, and their contention is that the slogan "Make America Great Again" means that we want to go back to Jim Crow or slavery, and that's what he really means when he says "Make it great again," when it was only for white men and et cetera, et cetera.
That'd be really far back. It's funny though. I got some funny stories with these things. So I was down here during all 3 Trump riots, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Fuck, I gotta move out here.
After November the 8th, I was down here in all Trump riots, and I was handing these things out, which is a covert way of campaigning for Donald Trump, because these YouTube documentaries on here expose the Bush crime family and the Clinton crime family in the same documentaries, along with many other people on the left and the right that are not really trustworthy. And so I was covertly campaigning for Donald Trump in the middle of Trump riots.
That's hilarious, dude.
It was interesting. I mean, I gotta admit, it was a little bit ballsy, because later on, a friend of mine, who I didn't see down there at the time, but later on told me that he witnessed someone, I think he might even said it might have been a woman, but I'm not sure, but he said that somebody had admitted that they had voted for Trump in front of some of those people, and that they beat that person up.
Oh my God, there's a lot of footage online of people doing that, which is pretty sad. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think anyone should be assaulted for a political opinion that I would think is shitty. I think that goes against everything that America does and should continue to stand for. It's freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you wouldn't be like, oh, you believe in this God, I'm going to beat your ass. That's like some savage shit. But apparently when it's political beliefs or political ideology, people justify it. I don't think that's cool, man.
Oh, it's because, they're misled.
But it's like people got stabbed on the train for their...
Oh, well, that's an isolated incident.
No, but what I'm saying is they would rightfully condemn that, but then go around attacking people for having a political ideology, like being a conservative or something. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of hypocritical to me.
Yeah, I hope that guy spends the rest of his life in prison, or I hope he gets a death penalty on him. He deserves it. I wouldn't want to spend tax dollars on him, being in prison for the rest of his life. I don't see the point in that. But it was funny. That was the first night I was down in the Trump riots. The Thursday, I was down at Pioneer Square, and right around the time that I finished handing out my flyers, and I was gonna, head back home and make more of them or whatever. This guy shows up, and he's got a bunch of blank whiteboards, just white canvas boards, and he's handing out a bunch of extra fat Sharpie pens. So he hands me an extra large red Sharpie and a whiteboard. And I'm like looking at the color, and I'm like, red for Republican, This is funny. And I'm wearing a red jacket and a red T-shirt, and so I write "I love freedom" on it, and then I start marching down the street on the sidewalk while everybody's screaming "Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump!" And then I step out of the crowd in front of a bunch of people with cameras, just like how you're holding the camera up to me right now, and I say, just out of earshot of the people behind me, but I say it so the people on the camera with the cameras can hear me. I say, "I love Hillary Clinton and I love Donald Trump." And
you love both of them, huh?
Yeah. And I'm holding a sign that says "I love freedom" in red letters, and I'm wearing all red. It's like, gee.
See, the commies like a different shade of red, if you know what I'm saying.
They like the red stars or something like that.
Which is really bizarre that people sort of are okay with the hammer sickle flag.
Yeah,
which is, I would argue, worse than the Nazi flag in a lot of ways.
May 1st, just a little while ago, on May 1st, I was down at Szymanski Park, and I saw 2 different sets of mothers walking around with children behind them, and the mothers and the children were all carrying their own communist red flags with the hammer and sickle on it.
Wow, dude.
Now that I think about it, I should have talked to them about it and asked them, where are you coming from? And what the hell's up with that, But I was just talking to other people there, and man, it was just weird. I mean, seeing little kids walking around with
there's so many more ruthless dictators that stood for that symbol than the swastika. So why do people even think that it's like cool and hip and edgy to fly that shit?
Yeah.
They will be like, "Oh, you're bullshit." That's actually like a slang term among Antifa or like RevCom people.
Bolshevik bullshit.
Oh, that's so bullshit, dude. It's like, why are you trying to make something so terrible into a hipster thing? I don't get it.
Well, because you got to make it trendy if you're going to get people to sign up for it.
Wow, oh, this dispersed. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I got some pretty decent interviews. I got some with these like goofy ass feminists who were trying to tell me that the patriarchy is in full swing in America, and it was great, dude. I love that kind of shit.
I wish they'd caught them on camera when they told me I need to be arrested for my freedom of speech.
Here? Today?
No, not here, but last year on May 1st.
Gotta move out here. I was in Seattle for May Day, actually. Yeah. I gotta move out here. The Midwest is so tame. Even the radicals are more like chill. Like, dude, people in Berkeley were violent as fuck. And people in,
a lot of,
like, just all over the West Coast.
Got beat up there. I heard reports of random women getting pulled off the street and attacked during that riot.
I covered that. They were throwing M80s into crowds of people, and they were hurling dumpsters at each other, literally, just in the middle of the street, just hauling the dumpster and then just like heaving it. Just three dudes would just heave it at a crowd of people and just throw it back. I got it all on video. If you want to check out Durst the Worst on YouTube, man, it's blowing up. I got like 12,000 subscribers recently. It's huge. I had no idea, like.
I thought it was really funny a little while ago. Not one of those guys, but this guy was wearing an American flag cowboy hat. I handed him one of my flyers as I'm walking by him a few streets back, and right as I'm walking away from him, I say to him, "Yeah, that's what I handed out lots of to get Trump elected." And I'm like, I mutter it to him as I'm walking away, and he's like following me, like, "Hey, what'd you just say?" And I'm like, yeah, dude.
What wrong thing did you just commit?
Like, no, but that's just it. He was a Trump supporter, so he's just. He just couldn't believe that I just said that.
Said it out loud in Portland.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
So like, is there like a conservative or like moderate liberal sort of like contingent around the city that isn't extremist leftist?
If you look on the internet, maybe you can find some people. I don't know.
Because I'm somewhere between that. That's where I'm sitting. Like,
yeah, I'm really more of a libertarian myself.
I had that too. I have sympathies with libertarians, moderate liberals, and conservatives.
In fact, if it wasn't for disgruntled libertarians, I don't think Trump would be president right now.
Which is odd because he's extremely authoritarian.
Well,
I don't get it.
He's a little bit of a libertarian. He certainly at least doesn't have any problem with gay people. That's for sure.
But
that's the minor
But
issue.
Pence does.
Well, yeah, and that's actually another thing. It's funny you should mention that because they were just over there at that speech that we were just listening to about an hour ago. They were saying, "Oh, we need to impeach Trump."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, okay, that would make Pence president. You want Pence to be president?
That makes Pence the next guy.
That's great.
That makes fucking Christian jihad
I'm not
coming
even really
up.
against Pence. I just know that it's not better. It's like.
I'm against Pence. I think he's a Christian, theocratic, fascist piece of shit.
I've heard that he's pro-war in some bad ways, so I'm definitely against that. But I just don't really know anything about it.
Like all these deranged fucking like Christian fundamentalist Republican assholes are just, they have a humongous boner for war all the time. I mean, Ted Cruz would talk about like lighting up the sands, making him glow with the fire of our bombs. Like he actually said shit like that. If not verbatim, it was like,
that's weird. I heard someone say that Trump said that.
It was I think it was Ted Cruz that said that.
I didn't hear either of them say that, so I don't care.
This conservative guy that I actually follow on YouTube talked about like leveling, what did he say? Like leveling their cities and turning them into glass and ashes. He was like really biblical with it. You ever watch James Alsup on YouTube? He's a conservative kind of guy.
Yeah, I actually can't really use the internet because I actually dislocate wrist bones when I hit too many buttons. So I'm kind of limited with what I can do. Yeah, very rare kind of nutritional deficiency.
Bummer, dude. Well, maybe when it becomes all like mind controlled, you'll be able to use the internet. But then they're going to be fully in your head.
I use that voice to text thing. That thing's very useful, I must say.
You're going to be able to upload your consciousness to a computer, man. That's sketch as fuck.
Hey, you know, while I'm here telling stories, I think I should mention that this guy. God, what's the name of the guy who was arrested right over there last year during a Black Lives Matter thing? Well, anyway, whatever his name was, I witnessed it from across the street. So it was around, gosh, was it April of last year? I don't remember when it was exactly last year, but last year this guy who was filming a bunch of Black Lives Matter people in front of this Justice Center. I was walking amongst the people at this Black Lives Matter march as they were coming down the street and everything, and I was handing out my own flyers. Same thing I handed you, but it's a little bit different. And as I finally ran out of them, I walked across the street to the park to watch the crowd as I was, headed back to the train to go home. And I heard someone yell "gun," and I'm turning around, and I'm like standing across the street from the crowd, and I see the most peculiar, just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my whole life, which is that after people yell the word "gun," and people are all ducking behind trees and concrete barriers and whatever, and everyone's all scared and all screaming and everything, there's a bunch of people in this crowd, this Black Lives Matter crowd, that are in the street, and they're running circles around the person with the gun. So I was standing across the street in the park, way over there, and I was across the street, but I was watching them run circles around the person with the gun. They were stepping towards him, then stepping back, running circles around him, and there were about 10 people doing this. And I was just, while he supposedly has a gun out pointed at the ground, and he's got his camera in his other hand, I guess, because he's filming them, whatever this guy's name is, and he's got his gun out, and they're running circles around him. It is,
some kind of bizarre,
that's a little strange?
Is this some kind of bizarre, deranged ritual, or what the fuck?
I'm guessing they're mentally fucking retarded. That's what my guess is that they're mentally fucking retarded. Because if somebody is pulling out a gun and says, "Hey, back off, dude," what do you do? What do I do? We slowly back away, slowly walk away. Maybe run, but for the most part, just slowly walk away, right?
Yeah.
We don't run circles around the fucker with the gun.
No.
And it's like, I I still, to this day, I still don't understand it. And like, I even had a friend of mine try and justify what those people were doing because he supposedly knew some of the people in that crowd, and he couldn't make sense.
Is that just right here?
Yeah, it was right here. So you see that Justice Building. They were all. There's a Black Lives Matter crowd, and they were filling up that street right there, where the cars are, right in front of the Justice Center, and the crowd extended into the park by these trees, and then the crowd ended by right where that bench, right where the benches begin, is where the crowd ended, and where the guy with the gun was right at the edge of that far intersection, and I was in the park right across the street watching him, and again, he was just standing in the intersection. And they must have been running circles around him for like almost a whole minute and a half or 2 minutes. And I was just standing there all relaxed. And I was just waiting to hear a gunshot go off. And then I'd hit the ground. But I knew that until a gunshot went off, I just wasn't really afraid. Like, I was the only person who was calm.
So there is video. There's video of this.
Yeah, there is.
Hypothetically, somewhere.
There's probably multiple videos. I've never watched them. But there might be video of that guy because he had a camera in his hand. And supposedly the way that it started is that he was running around filming these Black Lives Matter or whatever things or whatever, and they didn't like him filming them, and so then supposedly, this is what allegedly the story is that some of the people in the crowd started stepping towards him in a threatening.
Wait a minute, you're talking about the laughing at liberals guy, aren't you?
I don't know who I can't remember. I know his name. I just forgot his name.
Michael something.
Michael Strickland.
Yes.
Strickland. Yes, Michael Strickland.
Laughing at liberals, yes.
Okay.
He's facing like multiple counts of like menacing with a deadly weapon. He might be going away for a long time.
Yeah, I know what he's facing, but I know what I saw. And what I saw was a bunch of fucking retards running around him in circles. And then after about 2 minutes, people running circles around him.
So this is the site of, I've seen the video actually.
Yeah, it happened right over there. That's right where the bus is, right there is where the crowd of people were. All right, and so after about 2 minutes of people running circles around him like retards, he slowly starts making his way up the sidewalk while this other guy follows him, trying to like say supportive words to him, like, "Oh, be calm," or something. It's just some friend of him saying something to him. And
see, that's like
these two guys. They walk up the street, and I'm standing in the very center of the park, so I'm watching this from a perfect view. And they walk right up, and then they walk down the street, towards the north or whatever, sort of. And then I watched that guy, Mike Strickland, and he puts his hands up in the air. He puts the gun or something down on the ground, and he lies down face first on the ground. And as the cops are walking up in their riot gear, and he just, he's totally...
Right in that park, huh?
Yeah, and he put his face right on the ground on that far sidewalk on the far side of that park over there.
Dude, that's nuts, man.
And then later on, I was hanging by the people who arrested him, and I was talking to him about the Hegelian dialectic because I was like, hey, it's a bunch of cops all in riot gear. There's nobody around them. It's all peaceful around that corner, so I'm just going to go over there and talk to them about the Hegelian dialectic and problem, reaction, solution. And the cops were kind of interested to hear that, and there were even people filming me say this to the cops, But still, the question I'm still wondering is, why were those people? Why were they running circles around him while he's holding a gun out? That's the thing that they're
fucking deranged, man.
They're pretty nuts.
But that's weird. I didn't realize until like midway through the story that you were talking about a video that I had seen and a channel that I'm a fan of. And I think I've exchanged messages with that guy in the past.
Is he still in jail?
He's probably still in jail awaiting trial, and he's facing facing 50 years up to. It's multiple counts of because I guess this city is not cool with guns.
Yeah. Not cool with.
And they're not cool
defending themselves.
They're not cool with conservatives who infiltrate. That's what he does. Like he goes around infiltrating leftist talks, and he'll go he'll go straight into a gender studies class and just film, and they'll try to get in his face, cover the camera and stuff. It's really fucking weird. But it's good shit, man. It's good material. It's good conflict. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very entertaining stuff.
Seems like he and I were doing the same thing that day, just from a different approach. With a different approach.
But I kind of correct him in that I don't think he's actually. I mean, the channel title has a ring to it, "Laughing at Liberals," right? But I don't think he's actually filmed any real liberals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He films like
I'm a liberal.
regressive, like the regressive left is more accurate of what he's filming. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's why I've gotten in the habit. I've managed to get myself into the habit of using the term leftist, not liberal.
Yeah.
They're not liberals. They're leftists.
Yeah.
I'm a liberal. I am a liberal.
Leftists.
I am a liberal Republican.
There were a lot of leftists in this crowd, I think.
Yeah.
But there was one liberal I talked to.
I would say this crowd's a mixture of liberals and leftists.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to some of them, and they were I would say they're more liberal than some crowds, just because they were more supportive of the freedom of speech, even if they disagree with it. Which makes them a liberal, not a leftist.
And that's what's important.
Leftist just says, "Oh no, you should shut up if I disagree with you."
Laugh at would it be more catchy laughing at leftists? I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if that would be more catchy.
I think it would be. Yeah.
Word, dude.